Okay, so guys, this is going to be my first YouTube content. So it took me some time to decide that what should be my first video content to post, as there are several topics which has to be covered. Now, one of the most trending topic which I saw was this immune system. So how to enhance your immunity and so on. I thought that, and I was almost in the middle of my studies. Then I thought that this problem is something which people are aware of. There are other problems as well which are rapidly occurring due to this situation, because we are simply sitting at home, and everybody knows how hard it is to stay at home without any job, and all we can do is eat, sleep, eat and repeat. Well, this made me to talk about a topic which I am going to discuss in short details. So it's about this clogged arteries, which can lead you to so many complications and may risk your life, of course. So what are arteries? How the plaque is formed in the arteries. Artery is a circulatory system or a blood vessel which takes oxygenated blood to all the peripheral tissues of the body, and veins bring back deoxygenated blood back to the heart. And as an exception, the pulmonary artery, the one which are connected to the lungs, carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs, and veins brings back the oxygenated blood back to the heart, and from there it goes to various peripheral tissues. And now if we talk about the blockage of the arterial system, basically there are three types of conditions which may occur. The number one is Monckeberg medial calcific sclerosis. Second is arteriolosclerosis, and third one is atherosclerosis. So all these conditions lead to hardening of artery and loss of elasticity. What we are going to talk about today is atherosclerosis, which is the number one cause of this heart attack and various other complications. We are going to discuss over here in detail. Due to this condition, more than 50% of the Western population is suffering from stroke, myocardial infarction, and surprisingly now it is rapidly rising in India as well, and that too in a premature state, which is a big reason to worry though. To understand further, we have to first understand the basic structure of our artery. Now, the anatomy of an artery is very much complex, hence we are only covering the few basic things. So if we look at the anatomy of our artery and try to understand it in simple terms, there are four important layers in it. Okay, starting from this outside, so there is adventitia, media, intima, and endothelial lining, which is inside. Okay, so this arterial vessel, okay, in the inside of the artery, okay, is called the lumen. Now let's understand how atherosclerosis occurs. Okay, it's mainly found in larger arteries and medium-sized arteries like aorta and coronary artery. Okay, so aorta is a larger artery and a coronary artery is a medium-sized artery. It has happened due to repeated injury on the intimal layer of the arteries, and the endothelial lining are damaged at a time. Due to this repeated injury, which leads to inflammation. Now, how this repeated injury occurs, we will discuss this in the next part of the video. Due to this repeated injury, the arterial wall starts responding. The weakened endothelial lining becomes more permeable, and it allows more blood, allows more white blood cells to stick with them. Okay, so some of the examples are monocytes, lymphocytes, and platelets. Okay, you might have heard about the word platelet. Okay, it is responsible for this blood clotting. Now these are the soldiers of our immune system. If you have heard about this white blood cells, so these white blood cells works as a soldier of our immune system, but in this case it acts almost opposite, and it leads to the progression of this lesion. Now this endothelium is permeable to LDL also. Have you heard about this low density lipoprotein? I think you have heard about it. Okay, everybody knows it, which is a carrier of cholesterol and other triglycerides. Okay, they starts influxing into the intimal layer. Also this WBC, okay, white blood cells, starts entering into the intima and converts into macrophages. So the macrophages works like a vacuum cleaner, or you can say that they eat up waste materials. But in this case, they are going to promote the progression of this erythematous lesion. Remember that this LDL thing, okay, is not a cholesterol. Many people think that LDL is a cholesterol, but no. LDL is like a ship. It acts like a ship which transports cholesterol and triglycerides to various tissues. And the HDL is the opposite. HDL brings back the cholesterol and triglycerides to the liver, where this bile breaks it and excretes it from the body. There is a bile system in your liver. It breaks this cholesterol and excretes it from this liver. Now you have to remember one more thing, that this bile is very much important for the absorption of fat. We are not covering the details about the functions of bile, but simply you have to remember this, and remember this, that bile is really important for the absorption of fats. As the endothelium becomes more and more permeable, it invites more macrophages as well as platelets. Due to this, smooth muscles from the media will migrate into the intima and their functions are altered. Remember, the basic function is to contract and relax involuntarily. Okay, those are involuntary muscles. So that's why their functions is to contract and relax involuntary. But due to this alteration, this smooth muscles along with macrophages starts absorbing these LTL, low density lipoprotein. They starts absorbing, or rather you can say they starts eating LDL until they take a foam shape. So they eat as much as they can and they take a foam shape. Okay, you can say that they become somehow obese. Now this macrophages also releases free radicals. Free radicals oxidizes the LDL, low density lipoprotein, and then this foam cells eat up this oxidized LDL until they burst out and create a core of a lipid they create a core of a lipid at the lesion. Now understand that lesion in simple terms is the site, okay, where this atherosclerosis is progressing. Okay, lesion is a site. So I'm going to use this word again and again, so hope you don't get confused. Now in further stage, this altered smooth muscles will synthesize collagen fiber. Now collagen fiber is a protein that will create a fibrous cap on the lesion, the site of inflammation, of course. Now it is similar to clotting. This fibrous cap, imagine it is similar to a clotting which happens when there is an injury on your skin. Alright, and blood clots due to platelet formation to prevent bleeding. Along with fibrosis after few days to that so that the wounds can be healed. Now as time passes by, this fibrous cap becomes very strong due to constant supply of growth factors from other cells like lymphocytes. These are all white blood cells, okay, like lymphocytes, monocytes, platelets, and also endothelium. This provides this growth factors to these cells. So this smooth muscles, obviously. So which means that these smooth muscles undergo mitosis. Now mitosis in simple terms is a multiplication of cells. These growth factors are also responsible to create a new blood vessel on the lateral side of the lesion, which further we will discuss how it can lead to this intraplaque hemorrhage.